League of Legends is the game we won't be talking about today. So, Riot has always messed around with publishing side projects, and I'm not talking about things like Earth or ARAM because those are still the MOBA. No, instead what I'm going to be talking about is everything else that Riot has made. Just so happens, Riot has only made things using the League IP. What I'm going to be talking about is everything except League of Legends. And there's no better place to start than right at the beginning. This little game is called Cho'Gath Eats the World, and it's the OG League game. I was kind of worried about whether or not I would be able to find these old games, because when it comes to stuff like this, odds are people just don't bother re-uploading it. But luckily, someone did, so here it is. And it's definitely a browser game from 2013. It's a cute little thing, you know? You just stomp around as Cho'Gath, war people like Cho'Gath do. I found that out 4 levels into the game, by the way. And you slowly charge up Rupture. You know, Cho'Gath's ultimate. Honestly, for what it is, it's nice. The writing is from 2013. But the gameplay and the music is nice enough. Mind you, I wasn't playing League in 2013. I was like 12 or something. What was I doing in 2013? Also, in this game, you can unlock a whole other game. Astro Timo. From the art style, I thought it was going to be like a Neon Cat spin-off or something. I don't know, was Neon Cat a thing in 2013? But it's actually just Jetpack Joyride. I've played more than enough Jetpack Joyride in my time, and even with the League themed skin, yeah, it's still just Jetpack Joyride. While we are on my phone though, let's check out the next game, Blitzcrank Poro Roundup. This game has been re-uploaded by those APK sites that give you viruses, so luckily I can play this game at the small cost of Sergey knowing my credit card information. This is, hands down, the best game so far. You just play as Blitz shooting Qs at Poros. Okay, I get it, they're boring. But you know, these are just mini games. They're just little small things that not even Riot themselves made. It was made by Pure Bane Games, and for what they are, they're not that bad. After Blitzcrank Poro Roundups, the mini games would never be seen ever again. But that doesn't mean Riot stopped dabbling in game making. In fact, in 2017, they would dabble once again. This time around, the game was called Zig's Arcade Blast. This one was made in apparently only 48 hours as a part of a Thunderdome thing.
Okay, how about now, die?
I wonder
Please
what
die.
it would play like. Look, trust me, I searched everywhere. I went so far as to go past the first page of Google and ended up on some Vietnamese site hoping it had re-upload, but nope, it doesn't. Long story short, I somehow ended up here. Thought it would be a Chinese download, but no, it's just a video play sand. Is that a Chinese re-upload of Magikarp Use Fly? Huh. Well, while we're here, we might as well look at some gameplay. 2017 was probably closest to when I first played, so this might have happened around the time. But, well, the first time I played League, I didn't play it much, despite really liking it. Oh, and as for the game, yeah, it looks cool. Don't know what else to say. Shame it's lost until somebody re-uploads it. Now in 2018, 3 new minigames have been released and I can't play any of them. This time around they were apparently multiplayer and all made in 48 hours. Turns out the Riot Thunderdome thing was gonna be an annual event. I find it strange to call something annual when you only did it twice. Anyways, these look cool, but I cannot play them. And honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. While it's always good to know that these things won't become lost media, whether or not it gets re-uploaded, they really are tiny minigames that aren't trying to do anything crazy. Here's probably what I would have said if I did play them.
This game is a really cool little thing, and no, I'm not trying to be anything crazy, but still interesting at least.
Cut the clip. And so concludes the era of Riot minigames. Okay, wait a second. Before we continue, I did miss 2 games. I just now saw this in post. The games that come up before Zig's Arcade Blast and were Super Arcade Gunner X and Demacia Vice Squad. And now that I've done a bit of research, it makes a lot of sense how I missed them. There's literally nothing on them online except for this wiki page mentioning it and this video uploaded by Pants Art Dragon. I was thinking about just not mentioning it, but it wouldn't be called Everything Except League if I didn't cover everything. So, yeah. Back to the video. June 26, 2019. Teamfight Tactics Set 1 would be released, and oh my god. Do you people remember how impossible it was to get into a game of this thing? It was legit a 30+ minute queue time to play a match of the game, which is insane, and goes to show just how big of a thing the auto battle genre was at the time, and would inevitably become. So, as if history was repeating itself, a Dota original thing, Dota Auto Chess, had been remade in League of Legends as Teamfight Tactics. Being a brand new genre, it would take a while for it to become what it is now. Since 2019, the game has seen many revisions and seasons, and soon it's going to add its first TFT exclusive champion, Silco. I still think it's funny that it's just there on the select game mode thing despite being a completely different game. Back to the gameplay. You start the round, pick a champ holding an item, and farm up for 3 rounds, fighting minions that drop gold or items. After that, it's off to the team fights. Here, you pit your units up against your opponents, using whatever you can to win. After every round, you get a variable amount of gold, which you use to buy things from the shop, and this shop is how you get more and more units. Get 3 of the same unit, they level up. Get 3 of the same 2-star unit, they level up again. And while the unit level does matter, what is more important is the traits you can get from the units. If you get enough, you start getting synergies, and these synergies are pretty much the main way you win. Also, every once in a while, you'll go to the carousel again and pick an item, or you'll go fight a jungle camp, which is where you get more items. It's pretty well known now, but this feedback loop can be extremely addicting. Saving up money, getting more and more units, getting new items. By the end of the game, you'll be having some big power. And the best part is you'll be up against other people that also have big power. So at that point, the screen is a mess of big power offing. Or I guess you could call it a team fight. Look, at the base level there's tons of synergies and units to try out, so it's gonna take a while for it to get old, especially since the games take 20 plus minutes each. And even once you've seen everything, the skill level and APM can be surprisingly high for these types of games. They've even made a turbo mode of sorts meant to be played at a high speed, a la Earth. This current season is easily my favorite. The augments are fun, the champs are fun, and these things are adorable. Riot has successfully created another big hitting moneymaker. Since this is the first real game they've made since League of Legends, how about I give it a quality scale? From now on, the scales will be rated using 2 factors, and they must pass both to succeed. 1. Is TFT fun? Yes, it's super fun. 2. Does it make me want to play League of Legends? No. It makes me want to play TFT. Success! April 29th, 2020. Riot would release Legends of Runeterra, to the praise and clamor of many a card game enjoyer. Look, I'm gonna say something I don't often like to say where people can hear me. I like card games. Now. Wait, before you click off, let me tell you something. People usually don't like card games because sometimes they can feel really RNG, there's barely any player interaction, it costs a fuck ton of money. I get it. That last one is the main reason I don't really play them anymore. Well, that and time. But here is where Legends of Runeterra smashes through all of that nonsense. Think card games look lame? Well, this card game looks incredible. Want more player interaction? Well, this game has the chain spell system a la Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! It also does use a mana system, right? But you know when you have leftover mana and it goes nowhere? Well, here it gets put in a storage system that can be used for discounting spells. And only spells! There are tons and tons of decks to try, all with extremely different playstyles that all resemble the champions that the decks are based off of. How is that even possible? When I play Lee Sin, it feels like I'm playing Lee Sin, you get me? And this is just if you like card games. Now, if you like League of Legends, then seeing your favorite champs in card form do the nutty is amazing. But if you like League of Legends lore...
Right. Hasagi.
Legends of Runeterra is a godlike card game you can actually play for free. And when I play this game, I don't want to play that one. Success! June 2nd, 2020. Valorant was released. And it has nothing to do with League of Legends! I'll let this one slide. October 27, 2020, the exact same day the original League of Legends had been released. We were given League of Legends Wild Rift, a mobile version of League of Legends, that has some better character models and graphics compared to the original. Wait a second. This game is pretty much League light, and I really do mean that. The speed, the difficulty, the thinking, it's all mini, which is good because this is a game on the phone. I would mind playing a 30-minute match of League on my phone getting heated, but I wouldn't mind playing an arcade mode of League of Legends on my phone. Reminding you also, since it is a phone game, it's really easy to win. And honestly, you can't tell me these people aren't bots. Actually, Post Jarvis here. I just found out that apparently before 1.0, Okay. Sorry that I had to put that in there. That's just too funny. Back to the video. Well, that's what I would have said if I was talking about it on release. But it's been a year now, so I decided to boot it up again. I queued up for top because the only champ I remember owning was Malphite. And I went AP because I only have Electrocute as an option available, I think. And to my absolute glee, when I'm in the champ loading screen, I see this. Oh my god. Although something I have forgotten was that I am the king, so of course this Singe got shit on. Absolutely shit on.
Oh shit, I killed him. These minions are good. Oh my god, minions! Minions, relax!
Also, this game has wards. Here I noticed that This game controls really well actually, and everything kind of feels intuitive. And the wards did actually let me know that Akali was coming down bot side. Well, they would have at least if it wasn't from a mid laner pinging missing and then pinging me off, letting me know. Huh. Man, this is great. Eventually, Kha'Zix was doing Rift Herald on the bottom side of the map, and I was like, alright, I catch your drift Kha'Zix and help the brother out. Also, look at this Akali's reaction time.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, and look at the map here.
Phone game mechanics. Okay.
If you know anything about Akali, you know what she just did. After a quick little clown fiasco up top, I went mid and cracked the fucking game open. That's just the king differential.
I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
I might say things like that in the recording, but it doesn't matter, cause I'm the king. So yeah, this actually felt like League of Legends Turbo. Honestly, pretty fun. Mind you, I'd rather just play League, but this is really good though. I was oddly happy. Felt as if something was missing. Wild Rift is actually really fun and controls surprisingly well. This game had one major problem though. It made me want to play League of Legends. Failure. The last game that came out 2020 was apparently LOL Esports Manager. What is this? I've heard of this type of game before where you just play as a team leader or a coach and make your dream team. Wiki is saying this came out in 2020. Oh, it was announced to come out in 2020. What happened in 20? Oh, I'm so stupid. Yikes, ignore this one. Hold on, let me just patch this one up. Now we are in the modern era. Riot Forge is in full force, having released its first 2 games, with many more on the way. First one to release was Hextech Mayhem, a rhythm game made by the BitTrip people. It opens with this really cute cutscene where Ziggs is committing atrocities on the mass scale and Heimer's like... Then from there you play as Ziggs committing mass acts of terrorism, occasionally facing off against Heimerdinger. It has a pretty good soundtrack. This game does the BitTrip thing where the better you play the better the music sounds, which gives your brain this dopamine double whammy. It's not a very deep game, its protagonist is literally a Looney Tunes character, and the cutscenes whenever they do happen have that Saturday morning cartoon vibe to them. You might think it would get old quick, but the game's like 2 to 3 hours long and introduces new mechanics all the way to the very end. You can see my degrading patience as time went on though, but on the bright side, the game doesn't force you to collect everything. I full cleared the first third of the game and from there just finished the levels without trying to collect anything. It does have progression barriers, mind you. I found that out when at the very last level I was a singular cog away from unlocking it. This game also has skins you get from finding these gears and they're just so adorable. My favorite one is Commander Ziggs, and my least favorite one would have to be Ziggs from Arcane. So all in all, game is great, pretty fun rhythm game that doesn't overstay its welcome, and most importantly, it made me want to play BitTrip and not League of Legends. Next up is the big one, Ruined King, a League of Legends story. Spoiler warning, this game is great, and if you like League of Legends lore, it's beyond great, but I will hit you with a disclaimer. Do not play this game on the Switch. It's a buggy mess that crashes every hour or two, and that's not an overstatement. In fact, how about we take a look at the crashes gallery?
Hello and welcome to my art gallery. In this museum I've gathered all of the finest pieces of video game buggery I could find. Go on then, have a look. Oh. I'll leave you with my museum's curator. I've got to go deal with some business up front.
I find this piece quite masterful. Really encapsulates the crashing energy. I remember when I found this one, I thought it was a loading screen at first. What a fool I was. Would you believe that this bug right here, I was fighting him in the blind, just hitting rush. And when I finished the battle, I didn't get the reward. This battle is how you get one of the ultimate weapons in the fucking game. Here's the final boss of the game. And the Switch put a spoiler warning in front of it for me. Oh, I love this console. And lastly, the most beautiful one I've captured. Where's the tear to my eye?
Alright, sorry about that, I've taken care of business. Hope my curator's giving you a proper good guide.
That's that fucking green screen in it. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, in the Ruined King you play as 6 League of Legends champs, being Misfortune, Alawi, Braum, Yasuo, Ahri, and Pyke. Now, this is a pretty strange grab bag of champs, but the writers in this game actually made every single character interaction in this game so amazing that not a single one of them sticks out. They all feel like the perfect champions for the job, which is insane because this game takes place in Bilgewater in the Shadow Isles, despite not having Yorick, the Shadow Isles commanders, or Graves and TF. but at least those champions are still here in spirit due to the game having tons and tons of lore pages thrown about the place. The game is an open world linear story type, and the atmosphere is just amazing. Bilgewater really feels like a place where you can just get shivved at any second. It's great. Running around, doing quests, and talking with the people really makes you feel like you are in Bilgewater. And boy, does it smell fishy.
Jesus Christ!
The best part of the game is that that's the only part of the game that feels fishy though. This game's gameplay is really good. It's from the same people who made Battle Chasers, so I knew the game was gonna be good, but damn. I played on hard mode and the game never got annoying. Something really important about RPGs is that you want to make the bosses more of a puzzle than a stat check. Stat checks can be good, mind you, but the issue with them is that you just feel like, oh, I just have to be stronger. And while you could always stat check a boss fight in any RPG, you could instead, if the game allows it, build the proper strategy, and that is really fun. But that's just for me at least. This game does have a story mode for those who aren't into the whole RPG thing. Will say though, it does have a pretty wonky difficulty curve, and I think it's due to how much freedom you have as a player. There is an alternate currency in the game called black marks that can make you super strong early on, and once you unlock Pike, which uses stealth as his main mechanic, you can get away with tons of plain robbery. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that this stuff was all developer intended, but it really does feel like you are outsmarting the game, which is something I don't feel too often. While we're on the champions though, the way they operate in this game is really similar to how they work in the MOBA. Alawi and Braum, bulky frontliners, one being a drain tank and one being a shielding support. Yasuo Misfortune being extremely high damage hyper carries. Yasuo doing his combos and MF shooting good. I actually didn't use MF at all throughout the game. I just had too much fun with the other guys and never got around to trying her. And Ahri and Pyke having more quote-unquote supporting playstyles. Ahri got designated the resident healer, but she does have really high mobility and reasonable damage. And Pyke is, well, he's definitely supporting, that's for sure. You can also modify the champs using rune pages and ability points. It also really helps that you can always reallocate them. Say you come to a boss fight and you're struggling, well, you could always change up your strategy. But I won't lie, by the end of the game, the random encounter started to drag really hard, and so did the general pace of the fights. I played the entire thing in double battle speed, but even with this, the ultimate animations did get a bit annoying. Luckily, the boss battles always woke me up, each one having its own gimmick, Thresh's probably being my favorite. Eventually in the fight he does his ultimate, the cage, right? And in order to dodge this ultimate, you need to position your champs on the action menu in the bottom, inside the box. Or you could just leave them outside the box so they can continue doing whatever they want, at the price of, well, eating the ultimate. If you know how the move works in League, that is just so creative. Honestly, this whole game has a lot of League love put into it. The lore is so accurate, the characters are so accurate. It really is an amazing love letter to League. But hands down, my favorite part of the game would have to be the rest point conversations. Oh my god! These fleshes the characters so amazingly. A problem with League lore is that not everybody is created equal, right? Alawi isn't a popular champion, and Riot themselves have no idea what they want to do with Pyke. Which is why it's so great that for once these characters are actually getting some real love and attention. And this is showed pretty amazing by, well, my boy Pyke. In the lore, Pyke was a man that got backstabbed by his crew and left for dead. But instead of dying in the jaws of the beast he was hunting, he was reborn as a new entity, the Blood Harbor Ripper, Pyke. Now as a living ghost, he would hunt down the people who betrayed him, and once they were all gone, he starts to hunt the people on his list, scratching their names off one by one. But strangely enough, no matter how many names he scratches off, there's always more added to the list. His music is amazing, all the art of him is amazing, and the whole actual reason I started playing League of Legends was because I wanted to play Pyke. Now sadly, Pyke's story never really got progressed past the earlier point. He's never developed past the insane murderer. But now, thanks to this game, he actually has depth to him. Early on, Alawi tested him, and to her surprise, the test found him worthy. After this, the voices in his head would start to quiet down, and because of this, he would eventually join the party, wanting answers. And the interactions he has with the party members shows that Pyke is more than just a killer. His list, albeit cruel, is actually accurate because, well, Braum is nowhere on it. And as Ahri points out when she sees right through him, he does feel strange about his role in life. Something that Ahri can relate to, being that killing is also in her nature. He also actually grows a pretty good friendship with Yasuo because of their love of swords. Yes. Him and Alawi talk about the things in the depths, and him and MF talk about the whole revenge thing. The best part is it's not just Pyke, everyone has some interesting dynamic going on like this. For champs that had pre-existing lore, their stories got pushed forward. Finally! Braum is literally my new favorite character of all time, and Alawi's religion finally makes sense to me. Also, thematically, the fact that Alawi's whole thing is moving forward and not getting stuck in the past, And the game's main villain, Viego's whole thing is that he can't let go of the past, is amazing. The game really is great, and Airship Syndicate did an amazing job. My least favorite thing about this game is that it's, sadly, the prequel to the Ruination event in League of Legends. This isn't a meme either, I'm being serious. The fact that this event is what follows up this game makes me sad. Actually, no. The fact that that event was the end of a multi-year-long storyline makes me extremely sad. But I digress. Ruined King is an amazing game, though it did make me want to play League of Legends. And not just any old match. I want to play my original main again. Finally, we have reached the final, not League of Legends thing. This being Arcane. So, Arcane is very new as of right now. It's getting a second season, but not only that, it is amazing. Because of this, I will only talk about it a little bit. If I were to rate Arcane by itself without knowing anything about League of Legends, then it would be a pretty amazing piece of adult animation, which is actually a genre that's not too common. It's also especially special because it's a piece of adult animation that isn't 1, a cornball comedy, 2, depressingly nihilistic, and 3, mature for the sake of being mature. The story this thing tells might not be so original, but the voice acting, the legitimately master tier animation, and the soundtrack, it is just a plain buffet for the senses. I don't know what kind of witchcraft had to be done for this show to have an art style, but for the characters to have a strange real-life weight to them. I really don't get it. Lore-wise, this isn't exactly accurate, and that is perfectly fine because to me, this is now the new accurate. Silco from TFT is amazing. I love Vander, in fact he is my new main in League of Legends. And Powder from Valorant from Legends of Runeterra from Wild from Blitzcrank Pro Roundup is amazing. If you want a numerical rating, I'd give Arcane an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10 if you've never given a damn about League of Legends. But if you do like League, then a glorious evolution takes place. Just one problem. Watching this didn't just give me the urge to play League of Legends. Because of watching Arcane, I directly queued into a match of League of Legends. Which brings me to something very important. Throughout this whole thing I've noticed something. Seeing the covers and logos for these games fills me with joy. All but there's something strange about that, right? Well, if you have enjoyed what you've watched, then hopefully you'll be joining me next time, where I will be talking about League of Legends.